Well, hello. Blessings from northern Maine to you and your families. And I just got back from my second walk of the day, and I like to go at least 2 miles twice a day. It's very balancing. It's great for your body, of course. Regular exercise. It's great for your mind. It's great for the soul. I just want to talk about discernment today. It's something that I've been really interested in, knowing what is right and what's wrong, being able to tell the difference, telling what comes from evil and what is of God. That's the discernment. That's the kind I'm talking about. And the more that we notice, the better off we become. So that's the more we practice discerning, the harder it becomes to be fooled. And these days, that's essential. So it's something that I've become more and more aware of the last couple years. And we can ask God to help us discern more, better. Now, this is also called our BS meter. That's discernment. So it's different than being cynical. You know, it's great to question everything, but being cynical, that's the negative side of it. That's different than discernment. Some folks just want to prove everyone and everything wrong. That's a sign of immaturity. It's better to listen. You know, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So listen twice as much as you speak. That's not always easy to do, but it's good to do that. And so, if you want to reach out and actually learn what people are talking about, if it's something you don't understand, then you need to discern or be able to tell the difference if it's something that's good or something that's bad, and or if it comes from a good source or if it comes from a bad source. So that's the main thing I've been thinking about. That's something to talk about today. I've always been blessed, even when I was a kid, to have a strong awareness of the difference of what is right and wrong. I think most kids really have a strong awareness of that. That doesn't mean they always follow the good side. Sometimes you do stuff that's bad, and you know it's bad. And that can be called regret later. When I was a kid one time, maybe about 8 years old, went into a corner store about a mile up the road. We used to ride our bikes everywhere, growing up in the country. And had some money from chores or odd jobs I'd do. And so went into that little corner store, and my older brother had said, "We're going to do something fun in there." And we stole a pack of baseball cards. Back then, the baseball cards would come with a little pink piece of gum inside with the baseball cards. And so you'd get some cool baseball cards and some chewing gum. So I took that pack of cards, and later it always seemed, for some reason, I had bought baseball cards before and traded some with my brother, and that sort of thing. Collected them, had them divvied up into different teams and all that sort of stuff like kids do. And every time I'd sort through my cards, the ones that were in that pack of cards that I had stolen, somehow those baseball players were always glaring at me like, "That's right, I'm from the pack of cards you stole." Now, to me, that's what I mean by having a strong awareness of what's good and what's bad. And I never stole anything again. I never did. I decided that wasn't worth it. That's guilt in a good way. So, funny enough, it also seemed, probably because I was guilty looking every time I'd go back in that little corner store, the storekeeper always had a different sort of, "I've got my eye on you, buddy," kind of look. So, who knows how much was in my imagination. And but that's a great example of discernment, even though, of course, I had no idea what that word meant back then. It's interesting. I looked up that word, discernment, and one of the synonyms of it is discrimination. And it ties into how much the mainstream media and the society has brainwashed us. Discrimination originally means being able to tell the difference between two things, right and wrong, good and bad, sour and sweet. You can have discriminating tastes. You could tell if, let's say, you could have a discriminating palate towards wine, and you could tell what's a good wine, a bad wine, what's good coffee, what's bad coffee, that sort of stuff. And yeah, because it's been repeated over and over again, now if you say discrimination or discriminating, everyone thinks discrimination, and that's like choosing one race over another. That ties into the original meaning of discriminating, just telling the difference between two things. And why is that important? Well, that's part of the waking up thing. That's part of what I talked about in the last video, about, about not living in fear and being able to see the truth. So it's something we practice. For it to get stronger, you practice. And the more that you practice, the more that you'll see the truth. And when you're in doubt, you can ask, good friends. You can ask God. If you have a good relationship with God where you can talk back and forth. And it's important to build that up. That's a practice thing as well. So if you want to, it's a step towards the great awakening that is coming. It's amazing to be alive right now. It really is. People are waking up. People that once were in love with Jesus are also talking about revival, a great revival. I'm new to just the last few years really coming to understand Jesus and inviting Holy Spirit into my heart. And, that's different for everybody. Everybody has a different speed of learning things and different awareness level, or even the deep awareness of themselves and how they relate to God. Some people don't even believe in God. So there's many different levels. Here's one thing, too. I have known a few atheists, people that say they're atheists, and yet they're really concerned with attacking God. And I wonder, if God doesn't exist, why are you attacking him? Obviously, they know God exists, a lot of them. They're just angry at something that somebody said to them, or that they feel someone wasn't being truthful about. But, if you want to say, oh, the church is filled with hypocrites, well, there's always room for one more. Go right in. Who isn't a hypocrite? Hypocrite is the almost exact translation is Greek. It meant actor. There's something that's kind of interesting. So hypocrite was the ancient Greeks' name for actors. So if you're a hypocrite, you're acting a certain way that you think people around you want you to act. Seems to me all of society is hypocrites in that sense, that they're acting particular ways in particular places, dependent on what they think others around them expect them to be. It's a little bit like the high school being in the cool kid club, or worrying. When I was a teenager and I'd go out for a run or a walk, I'd worry about what people going by in cars were thinking. What is that? That's crazy. One of the nice things about getting older is that you get more comfortable, or you should be, at least, if you know yourself. You get more comfortable in your own skin, which, that just means you understand yourself, how you relate to God. How, to me, everyone is better than me in some ways, and I'm better than everybody else in different ways. I don't think I'm better than everybody else. Don't get the wrong idea. In certain ways, I am. I write poetry. I have written poetry since I was in 4th grade. So I am probably better than some people at that. Thinking logically, thinking creatively. Some people don't think those things go together. Maybe they don't. It's good to be alert to the fact that you don't have to always be stuck at a certain level. Keep learning, keep reading, get new books, or I like books. Just holding the book, the smell of the paper. But whatever it is, just there's so much information that you can find. So anyway, that's a general idea, and it goes into it goes into that category of learning more about things that are around us, becoming aware of realities, and that everything that we've learned and been told isn't always necessarily so. So, don't be surprised when you're surprised. So anyway, have a great day. I just needed to come on and say hi, and I love you folks. Enjoy.